So we've been exploring doing a pilgrimage to different parts of the body in Tantra, which is the path that I'm on, and maybe many of you watching this too. The body is very significant in that it's the territory for exploring spirituality. And so in these past 2 weeks, we went on a pilgrimage, so to speak, to the heart center, the Anahata chakra. And then last week, we went to the throat center, the Vishuddha chakra. And this week, we'll be going to the so-called third eye center, the Agya chakra. Now, normally this is positioned between the eyebrows, but for today, we'll be positioning ourselves, excuse me, inside the brain. So, as usual, I'm going to give an introduction to the exploratory meditation we'll be doing a little later. So laying the groundwork, if you will, for the meditation to come. So an important concept that we'll be exploring in this meditation today is that of connection. Connection, in that connectivity is something fundamentally important for us human beings. One could even say that disease is a lack of connectivity, a lack of feeling a part of something else. So right now we are connecting, and in these days of the pandemic, this is one of the best ways we have of connecting, because we can't socialize like we used to. And so we find all kinds of innovative ways online to connect to other people. It's by connecting to other people that our lives have more meaning. We feel like we have a place in society. We are a part of a larger group of people. So yes, we get connected socially, we get connected through our families. Another important connection is that we find in nature. There we clearly feel that we are a part of a whole web of life that spans across the universe. The other day I was meditating under the new moon, and the light felt so wonderful on my body. It was an exquisite connection. You cannot compare that connection to sitting in front of a screen. So nature gives us an incredible amount of deep meaning through the connection we have with it. And then we human beings, we seek connection to the spiritual, to the mystical, to the inexplicable. And we've been doing this as human beings since the beginning of time. We've been looking for ways to transcend our limitations, if you will. And even if you look at the meaning of the word religion, one meaning is to connect back to something. So religion then is a way to connect the human being back to the source, to the mystery, to the divine. So this is the connection that we'll be exploring in the meditation today, the connection to the divine. Now this takes imagination. We human beings, we wouldn't have culture if we didn't have imagination. How could we have produced all the literature, all the various cultural dances, all the movies that we have, if we didn't have imagination. So imagination is something that makes human beings very human. We can see much more than meets the eye. We can see much more than is around us in the present moment. And without imagination, we couldn't have created our religions and our spiritual paths. If you look at any religion, it's rich with imagery. It's rich with crazy concepts, wild concepts that science definitely cannot prove. But the imagination has no limits. And so in our attempt to link ourselves with the mystery, we have created so many ways, so many imaginative ways of finding meaning in something very deep. The Italian poet Dante, 14th century, he wrote that love is what guides the sun and the other stars. So that's clearly imagination. You cannot look into the sky and see love guiding the sun. You cannot see love guiding the stars. And so it takes imagination to create this beautiful notion that there is a benign force working in the universe that is guiding us all. And so if we have that sort of a belief, right, that love is guiding everything, our guru said, the force that guides the stars guides you too. So if the force of love is guiding everything, and our imagination accepts that, our heart believes that, then it obviously gives so much more meaning to life. And this is something, as I mentioned before, that is absolutely significant. We human beings need to make meaning out of what is happening around us. We need to make meaning out of our lives. Like, why do I exist? What's the purpose of my life on this planet right now? And so when we connect to the universe in a broader sense, through our religions and through our spiritual paths, we find a much deeper, significant, broader meaning. We can contextualize ourselves in a very beautiful story that we create as human beings. So having said that, now would be a good time to bring up the quotation of the day. So I'm going to share the screen here. So this is the quote from our guru. Well, it's heavily paraphrased, actually, this one, which again is going to be helpful for our meditation today. The word Taraka means liberator, one who shows the correct way. Taraka Brahma is both liberator and loving guide. Taraka Brahma is the eternal companion of unit beings in their joys and sorrows. Not a god in the distant sky, but an understanding entity in the house where they dwell. So this is talking about then the imaginative capacity of the human being to create a mechanism whereby he or she is in connection to the divine through this concept of Taraka Brahma. So Taraka Brahma is a bridge, if you like, that connects the individual to the divine, to the mystical. We have been doing this as human beings ever since the beginning of time, finding ways to link ourselves with the mystery. I travel a lot, and in my travels, I encounter different peoples. And so in Africa in particular, I'm thinking now of peoples I've met in the forest in the center of Ghana and also in the north of Burkina Faso. So in Ghana, we wanted to go into the forest, but we couldn't just walk in. The elders have to do a little ritual to please the spirit of the forest before we can walk in. In the north of Burkina Faso, we wanted to climb a mountain, but we couldn't just walk up. We had to get permission from the elders, and again, they had to do a little ritual to please the deity, the god of the mountain. So these are ways, right, that people link to something much greater. And when we look at our religions, we find Jesus or Buddha or Muhammad, Krishna, Rama, Shiva. These are so many ways through these personages that we have found a link between ourselves and the divine mystery. So this is the concept of Taraka Brahma. It's a concept that we use inside the mind, and it could be a very clear image that we use inside the mind